Hello, and welcome to this episode where we are going to dive into the questions you should be asking yourself before choosing an email platform or migrating to a new one. My lovely wife, Maria, I call her my tech goddess, or she says maybe tech tamer, tech witch. You can see there on her Zoom screen. She is here with me, but first, let me say hello, welcome. If you are new to me, I am Shannon Hernandez. You can call me Shannon. I am the founder of Joyful Business Revolution, where we have one mission to help coaches, consultants, and service-based business owners grow the business of their dreams in the most sustainable of ways. Our focus here is on organic, mission-driven marketing and creative email communication, creative email marketing, and creative email strategy that helps you grow an aligned audience, deepen community relationships, and at least double your revenue. Maria, please say hello to the good people.
Hi, this is Maria, tech tamer, tech witch, email marketing tech expert for sure. And I am so excited to start talking about some more of the big topic that we have today, which is how to choose a platform and service provider. I think it's really important that we talk about this stuff because one of the things that might lead you astray is the marketing for your email marketing platform. um, how do you see through that to get to the stuff you need to know? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Awesome. So I will disappear for just a moment because our cat is being very naughty. Maria, start us off with what is a marketing platform versus an ESP or an email service provider?
Yeah. So email service providers are something that everyone has uh, a, a relationship with of some kind if you use email. If you use email, if you have an email address, then you have an email service provider. Google is an email service provider. Microsoft is an email service provider. Yahoo is still an email service provider. And there are many others, okay? An email service provider handles sending and receiving email. A marketing platform and an email marketing platform, those things may or may not come along with email service provided by that platform. So for example, you might work with a company that requires you to already have an existing agreement with an email service provider before you can use their tie-in email to their marketing platform. On the other hand, there are many email service providers that then have also added marketing platforms to their services that they can provide. So like MailChimp sends email, but they also have a suite of tools to help you with your email marketing behind the scenes as well. So they're an email service provider and a marketing platform. But you could use Google for your email and connect it to a marketing platform of your own. Some other advanced marketing platforms like Entreport and the big names in marketing platforms themselves will allow you to tie in whatever email service provider that you have, and they'll offer integrations. And they may offer email service on their own as well. So if you're looking for an all-in-one marketing platform solution that includes email, make sure that you read the details of the service that you're looking at to make sure that you're actually getting the email service as well as the marketing tools. And make sure that if you are migrating or planning, if you want to be able to hop from one service to another, for example, the ability to pull your list down and your data is going to be really important to you. And some service providers may make that easier and some may make that more difficult. Each of them have a little something that they offer that's a little bit special. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But just remember that email service and a marketing platform are absolutely related for email marketing, right? But they may come from two different companies depending on how you want to build your technology foundation under your business. Okay.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everyone, as your business grows, right, you may find that you will migrate to new levels that will do something more specialized or more intricate than what you previously needed. So years and years ago, I started with MailChimp. I actually started with they were such a brand new company when I came into the online space, actually. And I started with the free package. We'll talk about that. I quickly realized that this free was not getting me what I needed, which was data, the ability to segment my list. We'll talk more about that. The ability to have the emails, the customer journeys defined based on the actions that people were taking. Tagging got really messy as I grew, and we eventually just exported the whole thing to Entreport, which we are still using Entreport today. We actually love Entreport. It is on the higher end of email service providers, but we use it for a lot of reasons, and we love it for a lot of reasons. It's dynamic in campaigns. It's dynamic in sequencing. I love the data that I can pull and get from there. Let's be real. I'm not pulling the data. Someone on my team is doing that because, as you all know, I often say, I do what I do best and I hire the best to do the rest. All right. But we also love Entreport because we've like custom built within it a CRM that Amy, who works on this team in sales, can have everything in one place. So she can go and she can say, okay, Maria opened this email. She clicked on this. I had a call with her on this date. Where is she at in the process? Here's what she needs to hear. That's a simplified version, right? So it's completely normal for you to do a couple things. One, I'm going to normalize you DIY it till you can't, or you decide up front that to grow your business, you just need to do what you do best and hire the best to do the rest. All right. That's really my philosophy in business. And two, it's perfectly normal to choose a new email service provider, a new marketing platform, whatever that is, as your business grows. Okay. So Maria, one of the big questions that we all need to be asking ourselves before we choose a platform or before we migrate to a new one is, do I trust this provider? So what insight do you have around that?
Okay, so trust is a really important word when it comes to marketing. I'm sure I'm sure there's lots of ways that you can apply trust in your roles, in your jobs, in your when I say jobs, I mean, what you're doing to help people. That's what I say. The trust for an email company is not all dependent upon size, but it is important to make sure that you check up on the reputations of the companies that you're going to work with. Okay. What you want to avoid is companies that you've literally never heard of, that no one ever heard of, that seem to offer a lot for free, maybe too much. If it starts to feel too good to be true, it probably is. And so I'm not here to say you should only use Entreport or MailChimp or certain brands like that. Constant Contact is another one. But make sure that you use one that has proven experience in handling email. Because what can happen is if you go with a company that is not known for their email marketing, right? So for example, DreamHost, right? DreamHost is a wonderful, inexpensive web host. I love them for testing things out and for their price. Honestly, they're very cheap. But the thing about their email is that if you start sending email from their email servers, a lot of times it'll just directly go to spam. And they have, facilities that you could send 1,000 emails, 10,000 emails, but they're not designed to do email marketing. That is not what they're set up to do. And so you start to have to overcome challenges that they haven't overcome on your behalf, right? On the other hand, when it comes to things like deliverability and whether or not you can reach an inbox, larger providers of professional marketing email have it's not just a knack for it, but it's that they've tuned their systems over time in order to maintain a high reputation with the email receiving servers and the email service providers in the industry. So that's really important. Do you trust that company? Because you want people to trust your email, right? And I'm going to tell you my personal hot take: when someone's email ends up in spam by default, to me as a tech witch and tech tamer, to me all that means is they don't know enough to make sure that their email tech is 100% proper. And that might not be a big deal for a spiritual coach or or something, right? But it would be a big deal if someone was a tech company and they were emailing me and their stuff came to my spam by default. So you know your stuff is ending up in my spam. What don't you have set up right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way. And then we'll talk about spam in another episode. Um, the main thing is if you're looking for cost versus what you can get, the trust isn't based on cost, right? So it doesn't work like the more expensive it is, the more I should trust it. On the other hand, it doesn't mean that free services provided by some service provider shouldn't be trusted either, right? What you're going to see is that each provider and each platform, each of these businesses, they offer something that they want to differentiate them in the space that's going to be their best value add, right, to the system. And so they may have better pricing for some things, and some things might cost more, right? They might
So,
charge you more for sending email, but they give you access to your data,
yeah.
right?
And I want to, Maria has a beautiful analogy for this, and it's the grocery store analogy. So, Maria, take us through two grocery stores on the same block.
Yeah. So, maybe the grocery store that's nearest, it has really expensive milk, right? But you notice that when it comes to snacks and things, they have really affordable snacks, actually. But the milk is really expensive for some reason. It seems to cost $3 more. But why is that? If I walk a few blocks away, the milk is really cheap. But the snacks are really expensive for some reason. And the thing is that each manager of each of those stores has to decide their pricing structure in order to work with the customer base that they are either trying to get a hold of or working with already, and they know that, right? If they know that people are more likely to come in because they just need milk right now and they're not going to care how much it costs, they ran out of milk and they need milk, that place is going to charge more for milk, right? They know that the people, if it's a grocery store that's inside of an apartment building, the milk's going to be expensive because you bet that people from floor 13, they ran out of milk, they're just going to go downstairs and buy milk. They're not going to drive to the Acme that's 13 miles away or even 3 miles away or 2 miles, right? They're going to just go right downstairs. So those people have to pay more for milk, right? On the other hand, there might be things in that store that are more affordable than in another bigger, um, even if it were the same chain. And so every business sort of does that. And I'm sure that even as coaches and consultants, you all have something that you use to differentiate yourself from other coaches and consultants in your industry, right? What is your special thing? And email service providers and marketing platforms are going to have a special thing. Sometimes that special thing is they try to do a little bit of everything equally well. Like Constant Contact tries to be a trusted brand that has a little bit of everything for you to kind of do everything kind of reasonably well. And they sort of do that, I guess. I'm not gonna, I don't want to, persuade towards any one business because that's, no one's paying me to do that. Let's be honest. But what you have to find is where your needs and the offering of the business that you're trying to work with here, where do those meet? find the provider that meets your needs today in terms of cost, in terms of features, in terms of what you want to do in the near term future, and maybe in the long term future, right? Like, don't sign up with a provider that's going to keep the data forever and that you can't download the data, right? You always want access to your data, right? But maybe you can work with a free tier of a service provider to get started, and then you can either upgrade to a paid version from that same provider or migrate to another provider later that meets your needs, right? Your needs are going to change, right? So use the provider and the service that meets your needs most, like, it's the best match for you. And first try to understand what you need, right? And that's hopefully where we got some of that through to you, right? You want to have good list management. Can you get your list after? Can you update your list easily, right? You want to have access to your data. How do I know? Did people open the email? Did people read my email? Did people click on the links in my email? Do you offer landing pages? What if you want links in your email to go to a special page in order to know that people showed up at the right place? Do you have a web host where you're going to host that? Or how do I then get that to work, right? That's where email marketing platform like Entreport could help you. All that stuff is sort of built in. You want to build an experience and they have that built in, right? Some email service providers don't have that, and you'll have to figure that out, right? You'll have to use Google Ad link tracking or something like that. So think about what you need and what you'll need soon, and try to make your decision based on that, with the understanding that your needs may change in the future.
Yeah. And as your marketing strategist who really is going to help you focus on email marketing, I want to make sure that you can segment lists, you can tag different groups of people based on actions. We're going to talk about that we can build out sequences to speak to an ideal customer's journey based on when they come into your marketing ecosystem. And so these are really important. The days of just everyone on the list gets the same email, it's not bad. However, it's not curated. And we're talking about giving people a curated, custom experience based on exactly where they are. I want your email platform to be able to do that kind of stuff. All right. The other thing is, can we track the data? Right. So I'm going to give a great example as we wrap up this episode. I just helped somebody launch their meal prep membership, if you will. And we spent several months getting the email campaigns together, getting the customer experience laid out. And what we realized after running it once, tweaking it, running the campaign again, I could tell from the data that we were able to look at, she, one, needs to work on growing her aligned community because there weren't enough people in this community right now. She had switched topics, right? And that happens as you grow and as you change, you'll switch topics, you'll dive deeper into maybe a different area of your specialty or a different passion you have. So the data showed us that we needed to focus on email list growth with an aligned audience. All right. And we also needed to focus on getting some feedback from the people who are on her list so that we could better customize what they were looking for if they are indeed the right audience. All right. So these are the kinds of things that I help you with on the strategy side of things, of growing your aligned audience and deepening relationships with people and really determining that best customer journey. Okay. So as we wrap up this episode, the next episode is going to be about email deliverability. This is probably one of the things that jazzes Maria up the most, is talking about things you say that get you in spam that you didn't mean to, the new kind of laws and stuff that rolled out for email deliverability, and how to just keep your emails, I say, kosher, fun, and in the inbox. So Maria, if people have questions about email tech needs, they're wondering, they want some support from you to like look at a couple different service providers and see if it matches their needs, where can they get in touch with you?
The best place is definitely hq@joyfulbusinessrevolution.com. This email tech help as part of your joyful business revolution strategy is all going to come to you through this total, ensemble, if you will.
Ensemble. I love it. And if you're newer to the community, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're so happy you're here. Please leave a comment below this video. Let us know you stopped by. If you have any questions for us, let us know. And hop on over to joyfulbusinessrevolution.com, where there's a plethora of free resources that you can download to help you with your business growth journey, all things organic, story-based, and relationship-driven marketing. Finally, season 5 of our podcast, Amy and I have been diving into all things email marketing for coaches, consultants, and strategists, and service providers. You can look at that podcast wherever your favorite podcast is, wherever you listen to your podcast. It's Grow Your Business for Good, or hop over to our playlist for season 5 here on YouTube. We are sending you all lots of love. Adios.